the mind, from excuses to empowerment. The first truth is the hardest to swallow. Nobody cares about your excuses. That sounds harsh at first, but it's not meant to be cruel. It's meant to free you. Because the universe doesn't hand out trophies for potential or intention. It mirrors consistency and courage. Life responds not to what you wish for, but what you embody. Every day your actions or lack thereof tell the story of your belief system, more loudly than affirmations ever could. You can have all the right words, all the right plans, and all the right intentions, but if you never move, the universe never meets you halfway. Hi friends, I'm Scott, and I welcome you to be one with me as we journey together to be the best we can. I make content on expanded consciousness and spiritual solutions for the mind, body, and spirit. This is a three-part mind, body, spirit set of videos. Most of us confuse thinking about change with becoming changed. We imagine the life we want, visualize the person we hope to be, and then feel satisfied just by picturing it. But visualization without motion is like breathing without ever exhaling. Eventually you suffocate on your own potential. Knowledge without implementation is just spiritual entertainment. You can read every self-help book, attend every retreat, journal your soul into 100 pages, and still wake up, or you can wake up unchanged. Because the real alchemy doesn't happen in your thoughts, it happens in your behavior. But let's be clear, excuses are not evil. They're often born from real pain. They come from exhaustion, heartbreak, trauma, or fear. There's there's stories of our mind tells to protect us from discomfort. I'm not ready, I don't know enough, what if I fail? These aren't lies, they're self-preservation. But what begins as protection can quietly become a prison. Healing begins when we stop using our wounds as shields and start using them as starting points. You can honor your pain without surrendering your power to it. The moment you stop saying, I can't because of what happened, and start with, I will because of what happened, everything changes. The mind is the most brilliant and most dangerous tool you possess. Left untrained, it becomes your greatest saboteur. It plays reruns of fear and failure on a loop, and like a show that never ends, keeping you emotionally hooked on imaginary catastrophes. It projects every insecurity into the future, turning possibility into paralysis. But when you learn to observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, the whole landscape shifts, and you realize that your thoughts are just weather passing through the sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the storm. There's freedom in that awareness. It's the difference between drowning in your emotions and floating above them. When you stop identifying with every anxious thought or self-defeating narrative, you reclaim your authority. This is why meditation isn't just about peace, it's about power. It trains you to step out of the whirlwind of the mind and into the stillness of the witness. In that space, you gain perspective. You see patterns for what they are. You stop reacting and start responding. That's the seed of empowerment. Confidence doesn't show up before action. It's born through it. You can't think your way into courage. You have to move your way into it. The first time you step forward, you'll shake. The second time, you'll still be nervous, but by the 10th time, your nervous system begins to trust. It begins to trust you again. The fear doesn't disappear, it just stops running the show. Each act of follow through tells you your subconscious, I keep my world. That builds internal safety, which is the foundation of confidence. We spend so much time waiting for clarity before we take action, but clarity doesn't come before movement. It comes from movement. You can't steer a parked car. The moment you begin even imperfectly, the path reveals itself. Life rewards momentum. Anxiety shrinks when you move. Doubt dissolves when you decide. Procrastination is just fear dressed in comfort clothes, whispering later. But later is the graveyard of dreams. Every time you postpone the timing that matters, you feed the part of you that doesn't believe you can handle it. Every time you act, even small ways, you feed the part that knows you're capable. So here's the practice. When your mind says, I'll do it when I'm ready, pause and ask, what would I do right now if I wasn't waiting to feel ready? Then do exactly that. You'll discover that that readiness isn't just a feeling, it's a decision. You don't wait to be fearless. You learn to walk while afraid. That's empowerment in motion. The Stoics understood this, centuries ago. They taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The modern mind does the same. It manufactures worry. Most of our pain isn't from the event itself, but from the story we attach to it. You lose a job, and instead of seeing it as a transition, the mind creates a movie of failure and shame. You're rejected, and instead of allowing redirection, you tell yourself you're unworthy. The mind amplifies pain by personalizing it. But when you learn to witness those stories without believing them, you regain power. Discipline is what turns awareness into transformation. Meditation centers the mind, but action refreshes it. And when you combine stillness with movement, when you meditate in the morning and execute during the day, you build coherence between inner peace and outer purpose. That's the sweet spot of empowerment. When your mind becomes an ally, not the saboteur. There's a reason every ancient wisdom tradition links the mind with the element of air. It's constantly moving, shifting, expanding, and you can't stop the wind, but you can learn to direct your sail. Training the mind isn't about suppressing thoughts. It's about steering attention where attention, goes. Energy flows. Your attention is constantly scattered between fear, comparison, and self-judgment. Your energy will be fragmented, but your attention is grounded in purpose, curiosity, and gratitude. Your energy becomes powerful and precise when you live that way. A wandering mind wastes energy. A focused mind creates reality. This is why rituals of focus, journaling, breathwork, cold exposure, morning stillness, they all matter. They're not trendy self-help hacks. They're spiritual conditioning. Every time you sit with discomfort and don't run, you expand your capacity. Every time you choose presence over distraction, you build inner strength. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce self-trust. That's mental fitness. The difference between the victim and the empowered mind is ownership. The victim asks, why is this happening to me? The empowered asks, what is this teaching me? The first keeps you trapped in resistance, and the second opens the door to evolution. Ownership doesn't mean self-blame. It means self-responsibility. It's saying, maybe I didn't cause everything, but I'm responsible for what I do next. That shift from control to response is where transformation begins. It's tempting to romanticize empowerment as some grand awakening, but it's often quiet and unglamorous. It looks like setting your alarm when you'd rather sleep in. It looks like taking a walk instead of scrolling. It looks like choosing forgiveness over revenge, consistency over comfort, truth over validation. Empowerment is built in small, repetitive acts of integrity. You won't feel powerful every day, but you'll build power every day. Sometimes empowerment begins with admitting you've been avoiding responsibility, that you've been waiting for motivation to save you, or expecting the universe to deliver change without participation. But the universe doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to alignment. It means that your level of seriousness, it meets the level of your seriousness. When you start acting like the version of you that already exists inside your imagination, life starts rearranging itself around that energy. That's not magic, that's resonance. And yes, the process will be uncomfortable. You'll face parts of yourself you've been hiding from. You'll catch your own excuses mid-sentence and realize how long you've been defending your limitations. You'll notice where your habits betray your highest intentions. But that discomfort is sacred. It's the fire that forges awareness into embodiment. You can't transform while staying the same. Forgive yourself for the years you've spent avoiding your potential. You weren't lazy. You were scared. You weren't broken. You were surviving. Empowerment doesn't come from shame. It comes from compassion. When you finally look at yourself and say, I understand why I held back, but I'm ready to move anyway. That's when real momentum begins. The mind is programmable, and you are the programmer. The thoughts you repeat become the beliefs you live by. The beliefs you live by become the actions that define your life. This is why awareness is sacred. It allows you to rewrite the pattern. Instead of saying, I'll never change, say, I'm in the process of becoming. Instead of saying, this is just how I am, say, this is how I've been, and I'm open to something new. The moment you take ownership of your inner dialogue, you take back your back authorship of your life. Empowerment is remembering that your mind is a servant, not a master. You're not here to be enslaved by overthinking. You're here to guide your thoughts toward truth. You are the awareness behind the narrative, the consciousness choosing its own frequency. And what separates existing from awakening. So train your mind daily, not for perfection, but for presence. When the excuses arise, and they will, pause and breathe, ask yourself, what am I protecting myself from right now? If it's failure, remind yourself that failure is feedback. If it's rejection, remember that rejection reroutes you toward alignment. If it's fear, remember that fear just is just excitement waiting to transcend into action. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. Every anxious thought is an invitation to return to the present. Every limiting belief is a doorway to freedom. And every moment of doubt is a mirror showing where faith needs to grow. The goal isn't to silence the mind. It's to synchronize it with your highest self. In the end, empowerment isn't loud, it's stable. It's not about declaring your strength. It's about demonstrating it. It's when your actions quietly align with your values, when your word becomes law to your subconscious, when your focus becomes your prayer, then you stop waiting for the right mindset to take action, and you start taking action to create the right mindset. So let this be your reminder. Your excuses are valid, but they're not final. Your pain is real, but it's not the whole story. You can honor where you are and still commit to more. Transformation isn't a single leap. It's 1,000 micro choices that add up, to a life of integrity. The mind once made excuses, it can become the mind that builds empires. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Start anyway. Because every time you choose empowerment over excuse, you strengthen the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. That's where real freedom lives. Not in fantasy, but in follow through. And when you wake up one day and realize that your thoughts no longer run your life, that you run your thoughts, that's when you'll know the mind has become your ally. And you have become unstoppable. Like and share this video and let me know in the comments about how you see the inspirations or spiritual guidance in this video, and how you might use these suggestions in your life. Subscribe to this channel. More is coming from the heart for the soul. Check out one of these videos. And remember, a smile can make someone stay. The right words may change their life. I love you, truly. Be you. Be one with me.